Hi everyone, it's Miss Rossi. Today we are going to finish our daydreaming self-portrait from last week. What you'll be needing today is your daydreaming self-portrait sketch that we did in pencil. You're going to need something to trace with. I'm going to use a Sharpie to trace my picture today because I want to use something that is permanent since I'm going to use some watercolors for the background. So I have my watercolor paints, some water, and a paintbrush. And then I also have some crayons that I'm going to use to color in all of my smaller little detail areas. And my crayons are going to resist my watercolor, so if you don't have a Sharpie to trace with, you can always use a dark colored crayon or any other kind of permanent marker or pen. Today I am going to trace and color in my picture with my Sharpie and my crayons, and then I'm going to use my watercolors to create a nice tie-dye effect in the background. You can color your picture in however you would like. The most important thing is that we color in our self on the bottom to look like us because this is a self-portrait, and then the rest of your picture you can really color in however you would like. So with my Sharpie, I'm going to start by tracing over all of my pencil lines. I want to trace over my pencil lines so they are going to be easier to see once we start to add color to our picture. So I'm just going to go right over the top of all of my pencil lines, and then once I am done, I'm going to use my eraser and erase any of those pencil lines that I can still see. Now that I finished tracing over all of my pencil lines with my Sharpie, I'm just going to go in and erase all of the pencil lines that I can still see. Then I can start to color. Now that everything is traced and I erased those pencil lines, I'm going to start coloring with my crayons. With my crayons, I'm going to start coloring in my self-portrait first. I'm going to pick a color for my skin, for my hair, and for my eyes so that my picture matches the way that I look. So I picked a crayon that matches my skin tone the best, and I'm going to fill in this entire space. I'm coloring nice and slowly, going back and forth in one direction. I am making sure as I'm coloring that I am not scribbling and that I'm filling in all of the white space for that area. I want to stay inside the lines as best as I can so that my picture looks nice and neat once I am finished. Now today I'm using crayons to color in my portrait and to color in all of the things inside my daydreaming cloud. And I am going to use watercolors to fill in the background. I'm doing this because my crayons will resist my watercolor, meaning they will not let my watercolor cover over them. So wherever I color in with my crayons, my watercolor will not get in that space. So I can keep these areas nice and neatly colored with a lot of detail without worrying about my colors blending and mixing together where I don't want them to. colored in my eyes with my eye color. I'm going to pick a color that matches my hair. Just gonna go for some brown. And for your crayon and watercolor resist to be the most successful, you want to make sure you have a good amount of crayon on your paper, because wherever you can see any of those little white spots is where the watercolor can still seep into that space and get on the paper there. So you really want to make sure it is nice and fully colored in, especially around those edges that are going to touch where the watercolor might be. Now that my portrait is all done, I can start to color in my daydreaming clouds and all the little things that I have inside of my clouds. I'm going to start with all of my little items that I have in there, and I am just going to pick some different colors and make sure that I fully color in all of my little objects. You can also pick a color to color in your cloud. If you want your cloud to stay white, you can color it in with a white crayon, and that will prevent your watercolor from getting in that space. Again, our crayon resists our watercolor, so wherever you put any crayon, your watercolor will not get in that area. I think I'm going to make my clouds a light blue or a light purple color instead of leaving them white, just so they're a little bit more exciting. Now I have colored in my ticket, and I have colored in my suitcase. I'm going to color in my car next. I have a silver car. And this picture was for all of the road trips I like to take in the summer with my friends. Now that my daydreaming ideas are all finished, I am going to color in the background of my cloud. I picked this light pink that I'm going to use for my large cloud up here. And then I have two other light colors that I'm going to use for my smaller clouds. You can make them all the same color. You can make them different colors. It is up to you. I think it is smart to color it in something, even if you just color it in with a white crayon, so that once we add watercolor in the background of our picture, it will not seep into our cloud and mess it up. Because again, our crayon resists our watercolor, so if I fill in this whole background space with my crayon, it will not let the watercolor paints come in this area and mix and blend together. I have a purpley color for this middle cloud. And then a blue color for my smallest cloud. There we go. Now that I'm done coloring in my picture, I can put my crayons away and it is time to watercolor the background. I want my background to be a nice mix of all different colors, almost like a tie-dye effect. So I am going to wet my paint, swirl my brush in there to fill it up with that color, and just fill in the different areas of my background. So I'm going to pop this pink color in some different spaces. Then I'm going to wash my paintbrush, wipe off the extra water on the side, grab another color and start to fill in some other areas. So I'm just going to blot in all of these different colors in some different spaces on my paper and let them blend together on their own to create a nice little tie-dye effect. I'm going to make sure that I'm washing my brush in between all of my different colors, and you can see as I am painting right over the top of my hairline, that watercolor paint is being resisted by our crayon. It is not covering over it, it is not blending together. And that will happen in all the spaces where we added our crayon. You can paint your background however you would like. Yours does not have to look like mine. If you drew a scene in your background to show where you were in your self-portrait picture, maybe you want to color it in so it looks like wherever you are. It is up to you. I think having all of your colors mixing and blending together in a tie-dye-like pattern looks kind of cool because it looks a little bit more dreamlike. So I'm just going to make sure I fill in all of my white space with my different colors, and then I will be done. And there you have it. That is my daydreaming self-portrait all finished. I hope you had fun making our project today and have a wonderful summer. Bye!